Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam Jennings coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. Hope you guys are doing amazing out there. Today, I want to talk to you about competition. Quick weather report for you before I get into today. It's about 4 degrees out here. I'm just getting a walk in this morning. It's very cold. It is not fun. But I'm definitely awake. It's nice. Sun shining. There's no inclement weather. Unless you count the extreme cold. I guess that is inclement weather, isn't it? But anyways. I want to remind you that if anything I say today on this video resonates with you, or audio, if you're listening to the audio version of this, it's a podcast technically. If anything I say today resonates with you today, I just want to remind you that I like to think I put out my best free content by email. So be sure to get over to EpicConversions.com and join my free email list. Now, about your competition. I believe, and a lot of other people might not feel this way, but of course you have competition, right? Of course, if you're selling widget A, there's going to be other people out there selling widget A, especially like if you're doing a good job selling it. If you're making a lot of money selling widget A, of course you're going to have a bunch of other people who want to sell widget A because they want to make money too, Or, what's more likely is you're the person who's copying someone else that started widget A business. It's probably more likely. But whatever the case, it doesn't really matter. Competition's out there. So, how do you handle competition? Well, the way you handle it, in my opinion, is to systematically remove it. Let me explain what I mean. There's a lot of ways to remove competition. One of them is to niche down. That's one way to do it. Niche down to where the competition is much less and you're not competing with the people anymore because you're selling something different from them. That's only one way to reduce competition. Another way to reduce competition is to identify all the ways that you are different than your competition. How is your business different than your competition? What are you doing differently? I don't care if you're making pizzas and you got a pizza place on the corner and you live in a town with a pizza place on every corner. How is your pizza different? How are you standing out? What is the USP for your operation, right? And once you identify that, then you gotta really work hard to push that narrative. Essentially, you need to adopt a mindset that you are one of one. And I've talked about this before. The one of one mindset. You have to adopt it. It's very important. One of one. There is no competition. It's you against you. Everyone else is something different. Whew, sorry guys. It's icy out here. Just slipped on the ice. Yikes. Anyways, to me, that's the true way, the real and true way to differentiate and just eliminate your competition. One-on-one mindset. How are you different? If you're not different, if you can't think of any ways that you're different, then you need to go back to the drawing board, my friend. Because what you're doing is not good enough. I could give you a lot of examples. But let me just give you one really good example, and you can take that and you can study it and run with it. Like, one of the best examples I can give you for this is you studied, sorry, it's super cold. My brain's working slow this morning. Just study bottled water. It's one of my favorite examples for USP, for becoming one of one. Studied bottled water. There's a lot of examples out there, but bottled water is one of my favorite. We're talking about something that's essentially a commodity. There's nothing unique about water. I mean, yes, it's important. Yes, it's a necessity. Yes, we all need it. But it's all, at the end of the day, H2O. So, how is it that you got Fiji water, Aquafina, Ice Mountain, and like the list goes on and on. There's just a ton of them. How do you got all these if bottled water is just a commodity? Well, it's very simple. They find and create identifying factors that help them stand out, that makes them unique. Whether it's, and I talk about this a lot in my USP Usurpers newsletter that I put out. If you don't know what that is, essentially it's a PLR newsletter. I create and I write them myself. They're not written by artificial intelligence, but I write newsletters of between 7 and 14 emails generally, and I put a PLR license on them, and I let people buy them and use them. They get great results with them. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, just go to epicconversions.com, scroll down to the bottom, look for my newsletter club. I got a newsletter club you can join, and if you want that real deal, human written, expertly written emails that are designed to get you results, check that out. But anyways, I did this one newsletter. It was called USP Usurper, and it was all about, coming up with unique selling propositions. And essentially, it kind of teaches you a system to do it. And I think a good USP goes beyond a system, don't get me wrong. But I think it's good to have some kind of like simple little paint by numbers kind of system to kind of get you off to the races. And then where you take that individually has to be up to you. I think you can use a system to get to a good USP. I don't think you can use a system to get to a great USP. To get to a great USP, it's going to require a little creativity. But anyways, there's a lot of ways to be kind of one of one and like essentially eliminate all your competition. But that's the scenario, right? That's what you need to do when it comes to competition. You need to eliminate all your competition by being so different than everything else that's out there. People, doesn't mean they're always going to buy from you, because sometimes, look, it's like a pizza place. Sometimes people want Domino's, sometimes people want Papa John's, whatever. But the point is, one of the great ways to describe this is like, sometimes you're in the mood for a hamburger, and sometimes you're in the mood for McDonald's. Now, all you vegans out there can take the day off from this one, because obviously this doesn't apply to you if you hate eating meat. But it's not the same thing, right? Craving a hamburger, wanting a good hamburger, it's not the same thing as wanting a McDonald's hamburger. They're two different things. You got McDonald's hamburgers, then you got regular hamburgers. It's not the same thing at all. McDonald's has no competition. They are one of one. Nothing else is going to taste like a McDonald's hamburger. It's got its own unique thing going on. So I think a lot plays into that. But at the heart of it, what I'm saying is, you can't be worried about your competition. If you're looking over your shoulders at your competition and you're thinking about them all the time, they're already in your head. They're already in your head. You've already lost. You need to be one on one. You know, your competition needs to be what you did last year. That's how I look at it. So, anyways, I don't know. That's how I feel about competition. If you're worried about competition, you probably haven't like either defined how your product is different than everybody else's enough, or you haven't made your product different than everybody else's enough. That's what I'd say if you're worried about competition. But look, it's a two-step process. First of all, identify how you are different or you want to be different than everybody else. Second of all, push that narrative out there. Make sure you're putting those differences on a pedestal, right? That's the big thing, right? So you gotta identify it, you gotta make it happen, and you got to, push that narrative. So, and that's how you do it, man, and that's how you eliminate your competition and become one of one. Anyways, it's a mindset. So I hope this is helpful to you. Be sure to get over to epicconversions.com, sign up for my free newsletter. Again, I think that's where I put my best free content. Okay, so that's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.